Hey lol, hey lol, die Snoop or North American or however you want to be called. My name is Kutcher I will do your requested VOD review as we said on Discord. So let's get into it right away. First of all, I think it's really good that you play Annie. Maybe you watched some LS and he inspired you too, or maybe you're just into the champion. It's whatever. However, so trust me, it's a really good champion. It's really good to learn the game. I think you said you're gold 5. Oh yeah, there it is, gold 5. My bad. So it's even. I mean, this is on China, so on the European server or on the NA server, you're probably around gold 2, gold 1. It's a little bit hard to say cross server which rank you would be. You would definitely be higher, but it's hard to say it precisely because there are like people who can't manage who like reach Diamond 3 in NA and they can manage to get out of Plat 5 in Korea. And Korea and Ionia are very similar in terms of skill. And then there are people who can like climb to Diamond 1 and, you know. Oh, you're just writing me in Discord. That's amazing. Wait, give me a second. Oh yeah, you're just answering my question about how great if living in China is good. I will read that after the lesson. Or after the VOD review. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, you play against Zoe. By the way, I was not able to find. Okay. Okay, I was not able to find no PGG for China. I'm really sorry, but I'm not often doing. I'm not often coaching people from Ionia, and I think OPGG is not supporting. Ionia IDs, and I know there's a Chinese OPGG, but I can't read Chinese letters, so yeah, this kind of sucks. But I assume you play a lot of Annie, and if you do, that's good. Okay, let's get into it. Enough foreplay. So you play against Zoe. While this is accelerating, let's talk a little bit about the matchup. So what is Zoe's, or how does Zoe win the lane? Like, how does she win the lane? Let's say pre-6 to make it easier for the moment. Zoe wins the lane pre-6 if she can poke you out, right? Like if she can make you low. So what is her primary spell to damage you? Oh yeah, mute all. I like it. Good job. So her main damage spell is her Q, right? The Petal Star, I think it's called, and giving you auto attacks along the way. Now, what's the primary feature of the Petal Star? It's getting blocked by minions, right? So if you position yourself correctly behind the minions and you space properly against Zoe's movements, then she shouldn't be able to damage you too much. And Zoe and good Zoe players obviously know that, so they will try to force you into situations where they can poke you down. How can they do that? They can accomplish that by pushing you in, because under the tower you have to take very specific positions in order to CS, right? So your goal in lane, or one of your primary goals in this lane to just survive it pre-6 is to not get poked, and to avoid the poke you have to not only position yourself correctly but push the lane properly. You're doing this pretty good here already. You obviously don't want to miss CS. Okay, and you obviously want to avoid stuff like that. Like when you see her stepping forward, then you know already what her objective is, that she wants to Q you like that. Then you have two options. You can like try to then the safest way is to just move in and give her auto attack Q when she positions here, and her Q can't damage you in this angle, right? So all she can do is to retaliate with an auto attack, but then the 3 minions will start aggroing her, so she loses that trade. And because you Q auto attack her, these two minions and that minion will aggro you, but this minion will attack you right away. This minion needs this minion needs to walk up a little to damage you, and this minion wants to walk up a little probably as well. So you don't take she takes way more damage, and you win the trade, and she misses the Q. And because she misses the Q, she can't push as quickly because she just used the Q for harassing instead of softening the minions up. So this would be pretty good for you. That's probably a little bit too detailed for this skill level, but I think you should try to understand the ideas. Because the better you can obviously apply these ideas and adapt your movements, the more you can create advantages. Here she just used the Petal Star, so we know she has cooldown on the key spell of her now. So what you can do is you can move in, and you can give her an auto attack and a Q. This minion is going low though, so we probably can instead just auto attack that minion and give her a Q, keep kiting in, give her then an auto attack, and she can't really retaliate again because these minions are covering you. So when you auto attack her, she gets, and she retaliates with an auto attack, these minions start aggroing her. See? So if you chase her in there, you can actually win the trade. Here you lose the trade because you don't Q her. And obviously if your Q is on cooldown, you have to be more careful where you step. Okay. So here we can go in. This is one of the classic situations where you get punished for queuing minions. Like, this minion could have been secured with an auto attack instead of a Q, and then you could Q her and you would win the trade. Okay. So the first things I see in that lane are primarily you have to use your auto attacks for CSing as well if you need your spells for harassing or to control the lane, and you're missing too many, and you're missing CS you could get. So these are the primary thing, the biggest things right now, and obviously your movements. Your mouse speed and click rate is pretty good. It could be higher, but it's already pretty good. The only problem with it is that you don't have a system yet. Like, if you look at really high elo players, what you will see is that they have a very specific clicking pattern, or that they use patterns in lane. So they know, for instance, in a specific situation, they know, for instance, that this pocket, like playing in this area, is the most optimal choice of playing. And so what they do is they will position themselves in that pocket, and then they will use a specific clicker pattern, which is always set the same, to just properly play in this pocket. One of the classics for this is, for instance, the wiggle, where you just click rapidly into opposite directions to pretty much nullify your own movement but stay moving, so it's harder for them to hit skill shots. This would be an aggressive wiggle. You can do defensive wiggles as well. Yeah, this would be, for instance, a way of keeping yourself in that pocket, or to keep yourself positioned in that pocket. Right now what you do is you move around a lot and you click a lot, and as I said, the click rate is good, but the problem is if you just move around, you're not really gaining anything from your high click rate. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so the minion wave is coming in the tower. I hope you... Okay, your CSing is pretty sloppy here. You really have to... I think it looks like you're new to Annie, so you're not really used to her CSing patterns at the moment. But this is really key, because Annie can CS pretty well under tower, and you should learn that, because you miss out on too much. Your camera movements are a little bit off here as well. Like, you could move your camera up, because this is all information that's useless, right? So if you move your camera up, you could see her, and you could see when minions move in, and you could see when people would run in there, which no one does. But let's say the jungler is just passing through mid lane, which what junglers sometimes do, then you could spot them, not only in the map but here as well. I mean, these are small things, but overall you don't need this vision, right? So you could move your camera up. Okay. Okay, her Q is on cooldown now, so you could use your Q auto. You could use Q auto attack W auto attack or something like that, to really chunk her out at that point. And she can retaliate with 2 auto attacks, a Sleepy Trouble Bubble, and the minion aggro. So you have to sidestep the Sleepy Trouble Bubble or you lose the trade. You can do a short trade as well, where you just move in, Q auto attack her, and then move out, which is okay as well, because it allows you to keep the mana of the W, which is so expensive but isn't providing too much value. Or you could try to like Q auto attack her, move around and give a W onto her and these minions to push the wave, which you want, as I said. You don't want to be pushed in this matchup. Just queuing her is a little bit, how do I say? It's not as good. Like, you could just do better. It's not optimal. This could have been CS with the auto attack Q. Your camera movements are really slow. You should work on that, because this will become a problem. Wait, do you play locked camera? No, you don't. Yeah, you have to work a little bit on your camera movements. I mean, your mouse is so quick. Like, you can really make use of dynamic camera, so you should practice that. Just look at high elo players who are streaming and look at their camera movements and try to understand why they move their camera. Every time you get hit by one of these Qs and you don't get a Q on her or a good trade or a CS for it or something like that, it's obviously a mistake. So you should try to sort your movements out. Watching your own replays is pretty helpful for that. Like, just scanning over your own laning phase and looking at the times where you miss position and then working on it. Obviously, just by playing and being aware that these kind of cues are a mistake, you will improve automatically because of how pattern recognition works in your brain. So all you have to do is pretty much concentrate and give your brain the feedback loop that getting hit by Zoe cues is a result of mispositioning in relation to the minion wave, to your own minion wave, and after you accept and after you give your brain this data, your brain will adapt the patterns it is using for playing, and then you will get hit less because your movements will change. So you can do that, or you watch your replays to accelerate the whole process, or you hire a coach. So far, what I think are the biggest reasons things are not going so well on this lane so far is that you miss too many minions and that you actually don't strike back on the Zoe. Like, you're not really doing a lot in this matchup, and you're not really, like, I'm not sure whether Annie is winning against Zoe in the early game. I actually think you lose. By the way, this is bad. I know it looked nice, but it's bad because you tank all these minions. But I don't know whether like a challenger top 10 Annie would win or lose against the challenger top 10 Zoe on the first 6 levels. I don't know that. I don't know the details of the matchup so well. However, I would say, this doesn't really matter in gold, right? Because you both make a lot of mistakes at create openings, so it doesn't really matter who is favored a little bit in the matchup. So if you play well, you can still create huge CS advantages and you can even solo kill her. And right now you play very, very passive, and I think this is just a little bit of a symptom because you're not used to any yet. And because you play so passive, you're actually not accomplishing anything in the lane, and you're just a punching bag for the Zoe. And in addition, because you lose so many minions, you're actually systematically falling behind. Like, all this Zoe would need to do in this lane is ignore you completely and just CS perfectly, like it's a custom game against the bot who is not attacking, and she would win this lane. Like, we're like at 5 minutes, and let's say you get all these, which I think you won't, but okay. Let's say you get all these 5 minions. Let's say you miss 1, so you get 5 minions, then you would have 28. And she would have 44 if she would have CS perfectly. So she would be up more than 1 kill already in gold, even when she completely ignores you. So think about it, that's really bad. Okay. So you get stunned up here and you see how the minion aggro is actually costing you HP, but you're still actually pretty okay in the lane because you have a mana advantage. Now you could move up. Like, this is a situation where you can actually move up. Okay, you're moving up. That's good.
Can they do this?
Okay, see? You're creating pressure, but as long as you don't get your own minions, you're actually accomplishing nothing. Even now, with the minion wave, you could move up at least to here and give her a Q auto attack. Like, you don't want to allow her to get this minion wave into her tower, because then she recalls, and then she's completely fine with having no mana. Like, this is a good recall timing for Zoe, but she's not taking it, for whatever reason. You don't really want to back that up, because Kha'Zix has no reason to commit to that, and you lose out of an XP. Like, you can like show that you know that he's here and position yourself here. So if he commits, you can help, but we don't need to go so deep in. Okay.
An ally has been slain.
A piece of advice I can give you, like, this is how I learn new champions. When I play a new champion, what I do after like 2 or 3 games of playing the champion, after I understood the spell kit, the spell kit, yeah, or the ability and the champion kit a little bit, what I do, I start to really try to solo kill my opponent at every single level. Like, I try to 1v1 my opponent at level 1, and then I see, oh my god, I got freakingly hard punished. Maybe my champion is bad on level 1, or maybe the matchup is just weird, right? I mean, obviously you have to reflect a little bit. Like, Fiora can be really annoying on level 1, so it's not that surprising that she wins again in many matchups on level 1, even against champions who have solid level 1 as well. So you obviously want to try it out in different matchups. And then on level 2, if you are healthy enough, you try to 1v1 again. Like, you try systematically on every single level in the whole laning phase, like on level 1 to level 12 or something, you try to really solo kill your opponent. In poke or even in all-in if you see a chance of doing that. And this will lead to you getting killed all the time. Like, you will die really often. However, the cool thing is, because you're actually like pushing your limits permanently with this attitude after around 80 games, you will suddenly have a very good feeling on how much damage you can do on your champion and when you can solo kill your opponent. And then you're actually pretty good. Like, then you can win many matchups, and it will be very rare that someone is really surprising you. And if he does, he's obviously better than you, and you learned a lot out of this matchup, so that's good, right? So you pretty much pay 80 games for winning the next 200 or something, you know? That's actually very effective on Annie, by the way, because you can't really miss abilities on her. So as soon as you have figured her damage numbers out and her behavior in matchups, well, her rough behavior in most matchups, you suddenly become really effective. Okay, let's go on. You're never pressing tab, but I imagine you're being behind 20 CS. By the way, we focus so heavily on laning phase because learning laning phase is the best way of refining your mechanics, and mechanics are pretty much the driving factor throughout the whole game. So if you have good mechanics, you will win in the late game as well. So that's one of the reasons we focus so heavily on laning phase. Come on, I can't catch that damn window. Come on. There we go. No, you're actually even. Like she's not capable of CSing properly as well, but if she's like better, you're really screwed in that lane. Okay. You would like to push that wave, but without intel on the enemy jungle, it's obviously risky, but because Graves gives us coverage here, you could like walk in here and try to shove the wave. You could even ult for it. Just to get the wave in, and yeah. Wait, you see their jungle bottom. No, wait, this is a Jarvan bot. Yeah, it's Jarvan bot. Yeah. You go to lane without health pots. I mean, you can. It's obviously a very all-in heavy matchup now because Zoe can't really get away from you. So if you can like soften her up with one combo, and then after cooldown's up again, you get all your spells on her and the ignite, she's probably dead. So we want to search for the kill now. This is a weird ward position. Like Like, this is not effective. Just think, why would you ward there if you could ward in the bush? Like, why do we ward here if we could ward here? This gives you this gives you coverage from here if someone is passing in like that. And you see people coming from bot way earlier. You spot the Scuttle Crab more if it runs in and out. So you can spot the enemy jungler if he's making Scuttle Crab way more often, which gives you more intel. And it still provides all the coverage this ward does. The only thing this ward does, what this ward isn't doing, is providing coverage from here. Or actually, if the enemy jungler is running like this, you're still screwed. But it provides coverage if you do something, if it does something like this. But this would mean that you would, but if he does that, he would have had to enter through bottom where control ward is. So this is not good. So this isn't helping him. The only thing you're exposed now to is like if he would go through the Drake pit and run in. But I haven't seen a jungler in a very long time doing that. Like, this is not very popular. And it's way more common that he will just run in like this. And then this ward is just way weaker than this ward. Okay. So, okay, we go into the lane, she's Redemption. And as I said, we want to soften her up a little. We actually have the big minion wave. You just used your stun for nothing.
Enemy double kill.
Okay, you do roam. Oh, okay. If you attempted like a roam to threaten the Darius, this would have been in high. Like, personally, I don't like roaming in gold. Like, I prefer learning and studying laning on this elo, and then when you're high up, like Diamond 5-ish or something, you start learning to roam properly. But this would have actually been a roaming window where you could like run top and try to kill the Darius. And even if you don't get him because your movement up means he has to retreat, this is actually really good for your top laner because then Darius is not able to shove this wave in, so your Camille gets way more CS and experience than she would otherwise. So you're actually helping her to not lose the lane as much as she's doing right now. This ward is kind of useless because we don't really care about this intel. We already took control over the bottom side, so we can just like position ourselves bottom side and we are fine because Kha'Zix is not a jungler who can like gank you in here, who like can run in from the other side of the lane and then gap close through the whole mid lane to reach you. Like, he can't do that. So if you have bottom a good ward, all you have to do is to play in this pocket and you are fine. Okay? Right now you sprayed your vision on both jungle sides for not a whole lot of reason. Okay. Yeah, this is obviously bad. You could have E'd before if she's like trying to follow that up so you get a little bit less harass. But yeah, you don't want to walk into the sleepy trouble bubble. Again, you're not playing aggressive whatsoever. You want to try to search for some aggression. She just missed her Q, so there was a window to get a Q and a W onto her. Overall, you just did nothing throughout the laning phase so far. So this is obviously not the way. Like you will not improve if you play like that. That's the major problem. Like, if you just play like that without trying to create any threats on the mid lane, you will not improve. Because you're not challenging yourself. You will never catch him there. Yeah, okay, going back is good. As I said, don't worry too much about... Yeah, this was a good Q. This was good. You probably could have no, you can't slip in a W. The Q is good. By the way, if you like use your E here, yeah, like you did just a second earlier, and now you Q that, like she's unlethal. Like you can W flash ultimate on her, or you can like E now and now W flash or ultimate flash, or just flash Q onto her and you could solo kill her. Like she's in lethal range. You just want to get the bear out as quickly as possible. Oh wait, is she playing? What's her second summoner? I'm not sure right now. Okay. Yeah, this flash is not necessary. Like you're never, like he's not in lethal. Like you're not in his lethal range. Like I mean the first thing is you don't need to do that. You can just run like this, or better is this, and run it out, because then he can never get the jump on you. And here flashing is just overreaction, because you have like your stun ready. So you could, like when he attempts something like this, you can just W him in the air and then Q him, and then you have this much HP left, and he's stunned there, and you can get out there. And you can even drop the bear on him if you want, and then he's like on so much HP, and then he has to back down, and you can just get the recall and go back to the lane. And if he elects to chase you, you just ignite, auto attack, Q him, because your Q is coming up again and he dies, so that's good. Giving him the flash here for free is a little bit dangerous, because now they can shove in the wave and then try to dive you. I mean, I assume they don't try that in gold, but they could. They could. Positioning yourself in the tower, I don't know if this is a conscious decision, but like positioning you here is good. Positioning yourself here is good, because you could do something like this.
Are we there yet?
Okay, let's speed this up a little. I mean, looking into the laning phase right now is not really interesting anymore, because there are like so many things already. I think we talked enough about laning phase. Yeah, you can... Okay. Like now when she's walking up, you could like... This Jarvan is really, really squishy if you look at him. So if he's walking up too much, you could like ultimate QW ignite auto attack him. Not now anymore, now he's too bit healthy, but before you could have done it when he is like 200 lower. Oh, you missed the bear. That's not good. If you hit the bear, it's fine. Your positioning there was a little bit weird, right? Because why would you position yourself here if you already gave up on the tower? Like, you obviously wait for backup, but why do we position ourselves here where Jarvan could engage on you and Zoe could land a bubble on you? If you could position yourself here where you're completely safe, wait for backup and then run it in. Like, you're not accomplishing anything, you're just a living target here. And then you kite in here and you just hit the Jarvan. But that's not really doing much. If you would have hit the Zoe as well, it would have been better. I think you could. I don't know. Let me look at that again. I mean, I wouldn't chase there because I wouldn't imagine Janna flashing behind him in second, and like I wouldn't expect that, to be honest. Not in gold at least. Especially because it's such a clutch play. Like, look at that. It's so small. And okay, now he comes in. When you have good overview over your spells, you can obviously just wait for your E for a moment, or you Q, or you W him, E, Q on him, so that you, I mean, it's, you obviously should be able to hit the W as well, but I mean, it's Lucian, so it's kind of hard to hit the stun if he has the dash up. So you miss the W, then you Q him, No, you don't have a stun. Also, you didn't use the stun onto him. Jenna helps you out with the damage, gives you the shield. You're too slow on the Q, you're not warding the Bush in time, and then you miss the bear and you get killed. Okay. I think I don't have to say more about that. It's just a mechanical disaster, so you should work on that. As I said, you're just too inexperienced on Annie. I mean, and if you have like 100 Annie games or something, then you definitely you have never pushed your limits on the champion, because you play like someone who has played this champion for like 5 times, and this is not good. So you really have to invest that. As I said, you have to really try to kill your opponent, really try to out muscle them on every level and try to push your mechanical limits to become better, because otherwise there's like no chance you can make the champion your own. And if you can't make any your own, then it doesn't look good. Because there aren't really less mechanical champions than any. Maybe Garen. Okay, the poke is good. Try to slide in the Q there. Okay. Obviously your positioning, kinda awkward. I like that you tried to do something, because as I said, I want you to try new stuff. The right play obviously would have been to go out, wait for your ultimate, and if they pour in, then you can flank their backline. If they chase, then you can re-engage. And if they go away, that's completely fine, right? So, okay. Good mid laners have around 150 CS at that point. You have 70. It's a little bit of a problem. Okay. You take the mid farm. At this point, your team is so far behind that all you can do is pretty much defend and stay in vision, and like this is already too risky actually, because people could be around trying to kill you. So this is already very dangerous. It would be better to just take the wolf camp, because this can kill you. At the same time, it's not the end of the world if you get killed here, because there are no major objectives up, and all you do is drop the mid tower, and the mid tower goes down anyway. But it's still not nice to die here. By the way, you're CSing this way too slow. Like, I think you're not aware on how dangerous this is, because you have 0 vision, and all the enemies want to do now is to pick you up and extend their gold lead and escalate the game so it quickly ends, so they can like bury you under the gold lead. So this exists, this exists, this exists. Like, there's so many options to kill you, or at least draw your flash. And so this is very dangerous. So if you do that, you have to go in there, use your abilities, everything except the ultimate, and then run away. So this is so you're way too slow not using a W here. Like, yeah, now you use it for 1 minion, which you could have CS'd with the Q as well. By the way, I don't like the red trinket here, because we are not the ones who will camp, right? Like, I mean, you can try to do some desperation camps, but overall, what you want to do is like to turtle and farm up and wait for them to like us here pour in, and then try to get a good ultimate. Okay, this was good. So we would like some blue trinkets to just cover, or like to scout out as soon as they start Nash, and to do stuff like that. In a situation like this, overall, how do I say? Annie is not as mobile as Camille. I think we can both agree on that. So if there's a 100 HP guy running away from the Camille, you don't need to chase that guy anymore, because if Camille can't catch him, you can't either, right? So instead of trying to chase for this useless kill, why not collapse on it? Why not help your team get rid of the Darius? Because you kind of just sacrificed your Janna, because all you could have like be there, EQ to stun the Darius, and then you see the Jarvan coming in, and then you can accept that she dies, and then you can get the shit out. But I think if your thought process is like, yeah, okay, there's definitely Jarvan around and Janna will die anyway, okay, then it's fine. But I think your thought process was just kill Lucian low, I won't kill. But yeah, obviously Camille, she's more movement speed, she's more mobility spells. If she can't get the kill, you can't either. Like really.
An ally has been slain.
The flash was good. It's sad that Camille dies.
Try to keep up.
When you buy stuff pre 20 minutes, so before you get home guards, when you hit the base, you want to immediately move to the edge of the base and just wait there until you have the necessary amount of HP and after you finished your shopping. Because now after you finished your shopping, you waste 1 second or 1.5 seconds getting out of the base. Right? Okay, let's speed that up. That's not too interesting. I mean, this is just tower defense. The right way of playing that, as I said, is to blue trinket and put some control wards in the very, very close to your base and just try to CS. And if you don't do that, you will get killed and all the time, because they can just lurk in your jungle and then farm you up. I think exactly that happened. Let's have a look how you died. You're here, completely safe. And now you try to join them and you try to go through the fog of war here. I mean, this guy is dead, like, and this is too much danger for us, right? So what are we doing? Why do we need to enter this part of the jungle?
An ally has been slain.
We don't need, like this is all death. And you actually go deeper. Yeah. I think if you're faster, you kill him, by the way. I think if you immediately stun him up with the ultimate and you use your Q, and then you win like a little bit of time, and then you use the Q on him, I think you might actually kill him there. I think there's a chance you can kill him. Because after you die, the bear will chase after him. And I think his ultimate is on cooldown. Or his ultimate might be on cooldown. After he was on bottom, catching Graves. But yeah. I think your reaction time is pretty slow sometimes. Obviously, if the thought process is Nash is coming up, I want to have my ultimate on cooldown for that, then I guess it's fine. Like at this stage of the game, dying, as long as there are no major objectives are up, is not a big deal if you're not a major shutdown. However, if there are objectives up, then things are bad. Oh, you tapped out. Okay, I just thought, what's going on? Okay. So now Kha'Zix is trying something. Your positioning is obviously really bad. You pretty much go into... You just went into melee range against the Darius. Like, he was not able to capitalize on it, but it was kind of poor. Like, if you look at it. So here you could like try to get a stun ready with W and then clip him with the ultimate, and then these guys could follow it up and maybe get the kill. You could like try that because you're in a very desperate spot in the game already anyway, so this would be a completely viable play. Now he gets the shit out. Darius is moving in. Now the right play now would be to just run away immediately, because our team is not ready to follow up if we go on Darius. But what you do, he misses his E because he's bad, but if he like instead of E-ing, he moves in half a second and then E's, then he hits you and then you're in his range. And even if you're stunned, you're suddenly in range of his Q and his W. So you would take major damage. Not that it would matter in this particular situation, but it's still an inaccuracy. And as you can see, like, you're really close to him, and that's just not good. You want to be as far away of him as possible while you're still in spell range. Overall, I think you miscalculated your damage there, right? Because obviously you don't do a lot of damage against the Darius. Now, see this spacing again? Like, you're way too close. Like, you're setting her up to get into major trouble in situations like that. Okay. You're so far behind in this game that all you can do is pretty much wait and hope that they screw up or die to you or something, and then your team gets a comeback. There isn't really any proactive play you can do. They, by the way, should just like shove in mid and bottom and then randomly start Nash, and eventually they would. Two of you would need to get there to contest it, and because you're blue side, you would actually be in major trouble. Then they would probably get one catch, and then they could Nash, and then they could end this game. So the fact that they see it here shows that they are not very accurate in the macro, but because they got the pick, it might actually work. You pretty much waste your ultimate. You want your ultimate really on the squishy targets. You want it on the Lucian, you want it on the Zoe, because even while we are so far behind on Annie, especially if you itemize a little bit smarter and not go into Hourglass, because Hourglass isn't doing a lot for us. What we want is a more aggressive item, because we want like such a strong... We want this so damage heavy itemization in a game which is so far away from being good for us that we can really nuke the backline and this way turn the game around. Because this is the only way you win a team fight. When you can one-shot their backline and then your team can slowly but surely burn through the front line and you get like a 4-for-1 or a 5-for-1 or something like that, and then you get a Nash and then you get like 2 towers off it. This is like the only way this game goes into your favor again. So you want to itemize in a way which allows that. However, if you go like defense now, all that happens is a team fight happens, you use your ultimate in your spell rotation, you chunk out the opponents, but everyone lives, they focus on you, you go into the Hourglass, and as soon as 2 seconds later when the Hourglass ends, your whole team is dead already, they kill you and it's over. So defensive stats are not helping you in this game. Like, imagine you would kill him there easier. Like, this was close. But imagine you can nuke him immediately and rescue the life of your Kog'Maw. Like, it's so much better.
Have you seen my bed ever?
Okay, let me skim through here. I'm 1 minute AFK. I'm sorry. 1 minute. Okay, I'm back. I'm really sorry. I will probably not cut this because I would need to throw that into a video editing tool, cut this 1 minute out and then render the whole thing, and it would probably take like an additional hour, and I want to upload this as quickly as possible so you can watch it. Okay, so yeah, we go into the base. I think I try double speed here. Because it's not really something, like as I said, you should really focus on laning and improving your mechanics on Annie. This is not really doing much. Your team is obviously suiciding there, you don't want to do that. You want to have the blue trinket to scout the Nash, because otherwise stuff like this can happen too easily. And as I said, you just want to try to find this miracle ultimate on the backline. Like see this? He gets out. Imagine having more damage. Okay, he dies because Tibas goes berserk after you die. But like this is kind of close, and if he works together with his support better, he actually makes it out. Like imagine in a teamfight situation. Imagine one defense item, like him getting a locket, him having Night's Vow equipped on him or something like that. Like then you're in really big trouble because you don't get these kills, and then they just can run through your base. However, having more damage provides you with way more. That makes sense. Okay, now the game goes on. I don't know why. I mean, probably you're tilted, but you obviously want to have your camera on the opponents to see which summoners are burned. Okay, they ping Nash. You obviously can't Nash. You're too low. Go through here. You want to push this as quick as possible. But a trick you can use is you can activate your flame shield and then tank the minions to do this additional damage. The fact that you back off there is good. You could try to camp somewhere, but they can obviously go Nash, so it's a risky play. But you're fairly desperate already in this game, because as soon as they get Nash, the game just ends. Okay, the Kog'Maw gets caught. Using your ultimate here is a little bit overkill, but getting the kill is obviously good. Now they're enemies. You get out there, which is good. If they go for this, by the way, they get not. If they threaten this, you have to concede it. You have to give it up immediately. Like you can fight this inhib, because if you lose the fight for the inhib, you lose the game. So you want to give up the inhib, because it's way too risky, and you're not in a very favorable position. Okay, you give that up, so that's good. You want to just slow them down until the ultimate is up again. Okay, they get the shit out. If they're smart, then they will just try to get a catch and try to get a pick, and push bottom or top. Most likely bottom. Okay, now they get the pick they wanted, and yeah, I think now the game ends. You get obviously catched a little, you're living a little bit, how do you say? You're living very risky up there. I mean, obviously after you die, but you're not really in a position to stand outside of your tower range. Let's put it this way. Okay, as I said, this wasn't very interesting anymore. The main things you have to work on is, number one is definitely CSing. You have to improve your CSing in lane. You're missing out on too much gold. Mid laners are mid laners can have minute farm, so minutes times 10 on farm, and you should try to work on that to accomplish this. Because you lag so far behind in itemization. If you don't do that, if you can sort out your CS, you will immediately gain elo and skill. You will immediately improve, and you will obviously you will obviously gain elo, because we saw like Zoe was really terrible at CSing. So if you can CS better, you will have a big gold lead after every laning phase, which is really fantastic. The other thing you should want to work on, and this will obviously be a little bit in contradiction to the CSing practices, you want to really push your limits. You want to learn how to play Annie. You want to really push your limits on every single level. So these are the main things. The other thing I feel like you're not doing right now is you're not punished hard enough if your opponents are using major spells. You want to get a little bit better at your movements. You want to improve your spacing. You want to improve the way you think in mid and late game. Like when you're behind like this, you really want to turtle it out, like play super defensive, try to not die at all anymore, and just wait for your opponents to come in so you can flash into their backline and kill the backline and shut down the siege this way. Because this is a big advantage of Annie, that you can really end sieges by just taking out their ADC. So you should try that. Yeah, these are the main things. Overall, pretty nice game. I think you can learn a lot from it. And yeah, if you have any questions, you can message me in Discord, of course. And I hope you enjoyed the VOD review. I would appreciate it a lot if you could rate the lesson on league coaching. And yeah, have a great day and see you.